progress.
Yes, we have the recording in progress.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وآله الطيبين الطاهرين
اللهم صل على محمد وعلى محمد.
اللهم أخرجني من ظلمات الوهم وأكرمني بنور الفهم اللهم افتح علينا أبواب رحمتك وانشر علينا خزائن علومك برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. Alhamdulillah, we have tawfiq to continue our study of history of Shia Islam in the 4th century and 5th century. So today we study Fatimids in Africa. They ruled from 297 after Hijrah up to 567. So almost 300 years. If you want to go to the background, we should be a little bit familiar with Ismailis. So Ismailis are people who believed in Imama of Ismail, the son of Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq alayhi salam. There are different groups. Sometimes they are referred to as Batiniya, as Ta'limiyya, Hashishiyya, Qaramita. These are all Ismaili. Ismail died in the year 143, 5 years before martyrdom of Imam Sadiq alayhi salam. Imam Sadiq himself, was there and was taking care of his, burial and funeral. He was buried in Baqiyah. But Ismailis had the idea that Imama of Imam Sadiq alayhi salam continue through Ismail, not through Imam al-Kadhim alayhi salam. So they believe up to 6 Imam of 12 Imams. So they're considered as, we say Shesh Imam, like, sisters. And they were themselves divided into Khas and Am. So those who were khas or specific, they believe that Ismail, even during the time of his father, was Imam, and he went into Qaybah, occultation. But those who were they had the idea that before Ismail died, he appointed his son Muhammad to be his successor, and therefore they believe that the 7th Imam is Muhammad ibn Ismail, and they continue with the line of Imams through the progeny of Ismail. So we are not talking now, like some of the dynasties before, necessarily about the 12 words about Ithna Ashari Shia. We are talking about Shia in general. Sometimes they were Zaydis, sometimes they were Fatimids, sometimes they were 12ers. So, in the year 297, the Khilafah of Fatimids in northern Africa, especially about Tunis, Algeria, was formed, and later was expanded to Egypt, and even at some point to Halab and Mosul, even at some time Mecca and Medina were under Fatimids. But originally it started in what is called Afriqiyya. Afriqiyya is part of the northern Africa, towards the west. So it's where Tunis and Algeria, part of Algeria were there. So for about 100 years, they had activities over there. And they finally managed to establish their governance over there. The person who was the leader of Fatimid movement and activities was a person called Abu Abdullah Shi'i, al-Shi'i, Abu Abdullah al-Shi'i. So he was the first Ismaili person who spread the call of Ismailis and the da'wah of Ismailis among Berber tribes in northern Africa. And he did 17 years of da'wah over there. Their activities and also the weakness of the central government of Abbasid Khalifa, they worked together and helped with the establishment of Ismaili dynasty. Some tribes also joined Ismailis because they wanted to be independent from Abbasids and they wanted to have, more powerful role in determining, their situation and, the politics, etc. So they joined also Ismailids. So Abu Abdullah al-Shi'i involved these tribes and therefore managed to establish the governance. In the period of the first three Fatimid caliphs, they were very much focusing on establishing themselves, defeating their internal opponents who were against them, and also controlling the tribes who were not with them. And they were at the beginning just focused on Afriqiyya. From the time of the fourth Fatimid Caliph, who was called Al-Mu'izzu li-Dinillah, from 341 to 365 after Hijrah. In Christian era would be 931 to 975. In the time of this person, Al-Mu'izzu li-Dinillah, they were very well established and they had a powerful commander called Jawhar. He was the commander of their army, and they managed to defeat the opponents in North Africa. So moved towards east. So they controlled also Egypt. And then he went in the year 358 to Fustat, which used to be capital of Egypt. And people there, influential people, welcomed him because Egypt suffered from some problems like famine, etc. And they welcomed him. 4 years later, Mu'izz himself, Al-Mu'izzu li-Dinillah, the Fatimid Caliph, went to Egypt and moved the capital from Mahdiya, which was their capital before, to Qahira in Egypt. Then they had more interest towards east, so they didn't continue towards west, they continued more towards east. Even, Sham and Iraq, as I said, and they managed to control for several years Damascus and Halab. And even when there was a problem between Buwayhids and Seljuqis for 1 year. Buwayhids were Shia, Seljuqis were Sunnis. Seljuqis were in favor of the Abbasid Caliph, and basically they wanted to support the Sunni Khalifa against the Shia Buwayhids. So there was 1 year that Baghdad was very weak. The Abbasid Caliph was very weak, and they managed to control even Baghdad, the center of the whole Muslim world, for 1 year. But then Seljuqis managed to reach Baghdad, and Fatimids had to withdraw. Seljuqis in the year 451, they managed to rule Baghdad. And then after Baghdad, in 20 years, in 471, Seljuqis took also Sham, Damascus, from Fatimids. So Fatimids were forced to be in Egypt. It seems that, can you hear me?
Yes, the picture is frozen, Sheikh.
I think soon my voice will start, so let me restart.
Okay, inshallah.
Okay, let's start. Sorry for that.
No problem.
Recording in progress.
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh.
Assalamu alaikum. Can you see this map?
Yes, if you can just bring it, we see the green, all the green, we can see it.
Yeah, so the green is where Fatimids used to rule. Okay?
Yes.
So you see that even here in this, yeah. So this is towards west. It goes all the way to Iraq and even Mecca and Medina.
Sham.
Yeah. So at the peak of their power, as you see in the map, they were from Baghdad, Mosul, Damascus, Halab, then even Mecca, Medina, and Egypt, Libya, and part of Algeria, Tunis, they were ruling. So some of them were in Egypt, some of them were in Maghreb. So in Maghreb we have Ubaydullah al-Mahdi. from 297 to 322, Al-Qa'imu bi-Amrillah from 322 to 334, Al-Mansuru Billah Ismail 334 to 341, Al-Mu'izzu Lidinillah 341 to 362, and from this point on, then they managed to go to Egypt. So initially it was in Maghreb, then they went to Egypt. We have up to 15. So 15th is Al-Azidu Lidinillah, who ruled from 555 to 567. So as I said, almost 300 years they managed to rule. Some of the places that in Egypt, were founded by them was, for example, Jami of Al-Azhar, which was a mosque, we will talk about it, and also a kind of university. Also Masjidul Hussein, which is said that head of Imam Hussein alayhi salam was there. And also there is a Zainabiyya, that some say that Lady Zainab was there. And also there is a place called Barakatul Habash that was Waqf, endowment for children of Imam Ali. And there is a city in southern Egypt called Al-Ashraf. If you look at this map, this is another map, you see Al-Ashraf here. This is Al-Ashraf. All the people in this city were Sayyids. Al-Ashraf. There is a tomb of Fatima bint al-Hussein also there. Also Sayyida Nafisa, who was daughter of Zayd ibn Hassan ibn Ali. And also there is grave of Malika Ashtar. And also there is a place that for head of Zayd ibn Ali. So there are places that are very important for the Shia history there. So in the year 358, they conquered Egypt, and they tried to have a policy of openness to other madhahib, tolerance, respecting leaders of other communities, other denominations, and encouraging scientific activities. So they used to also commemorate Ashura and Eid Ghadir. Also, interestingly, they used to say Hayya ala khayr al-a'mal in adhan at that time, from the ma'azaneh, from the minarets of the mosques, Shia mosques. They used to say Hayya ala khayr al-a'mal, but Sunnis were free to have their own way. Al-Azhar is the first official Jami' mosque, grand mosque of Fatimids, and it was built according to the command of the Fatimi Khalifa, and it was a place which was for the Caliph, his people, his army, and main Ismaili community. They used to say their prayer there. And from the beginning, they were teaching Quran and fiqh there. And interestingly, students and talabah from other places, they used to go there from other regions to study in Al-Azhar at that time. And people from different parts of Muslim world had their own rawaq, kind of their own hall inside Jama, those who were from different regions. Many books were also compiled about Ismaili fiqh and kalam, and other than that, in mathematics, astronomy, medicine, they were very, active. And it is considered as one of the golden times of Islamic civilization. They were very much interested in architecture as well, and also painting, working with glass, ceramics, making paper, working with wood. And here you will see, inshallah, when the book is published, some of the arts from that time. They were also very interested in trade and economy, and especially in international trade. They had even business with Europe, with Byzantine. They were buying, clothes which were produced in Egypt from them. And also they were importing, interestingly, from India and China. They were importing some agricultural products and other products. They also had made places for rest for tradesmen that could stay on the way, to their destinations. Then there is a discussion about Jami al-Azhar, and you see also a picture of it. And so it was first a grand mosque, but also it was also a hub for learning and became like a university. Now we say Jami'atul Azhar. And the first teachers in Al-Azhar organized their classes in the year 365 after Hijrah. So more than 1,000 years ago. And it said that the reason they called their Azhar is after Lady Fatima Zahra, because they were Fatimids, they were Shia. So this place from beginning has connection with Ahlul Bayt and the Shia. And now it has about 120,000 students in different levels, bachelor's, master's, and PhD. And it is said that every year about 20,000 people join Al-Azhar for studying. When Tehran University, in the Faculty of Ilahiyat wa Ma'arif Islami, they started chair for teaching Hanafi fiqh and Shafi'i fiqh. In Al-Azhar also they started a chair of fiqh Ja'fari in the time of Sheikh Shaltut, and you are familiar also with the work of Taqrib in Egypt, that under instructions of Grand Ayatollah Burujerdi Razwanullah Ta'ala Alayh, they managed to reach very good points, to the extent that Sheikh Shaltut issued the verdict that fiqh Ja'fari is one of the reliable fiqhs in Islam, and acting according to that, it's permissible. They even published Majma' al-Bayan by Tabarsi in Al-Azhar. There is a story that inshallah during Q&A, inshallah, I will mention about the Ayatollah al-Uzma Burujerdi and Al-Azhar. They had also Darul Hikmah, which started in 395, and this was a place that had different halls for lectures, and they were teaching Arabic sciences like Nahw, Sarf, and Kalam, and they were training students. Especially they were training Da'is, Ismaili Muballigh, people who are doing tabligh for this tradition. And sometimes the Khalifa himself was attending some of these gatherings of Darul Hikmah. Then in the book there are also some pictures of some copies of the Quran, which were also written sometime with gold or decorated with gold. Then after more than 250, less than 300 years, they went to decline because some of the caliphs, Ismaili caliphs, were weak, and also some of the ministers became very active, were not Fatimids, and then people like Salahuddin Ayyubi, they contributed to weakening and defeat of this dynasty. So finally in the year 567, after some also riots, this dynasty finished. So inshallah next week we will talk about Buwayhids, who ruled from 250 to 316 for 66 years, but they were in the very central part of the Muslim world. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجه.